All right. Good morning. Today is September 5th of 2024. And oh darn. All right, let's go over yesterday's price action as well as the outlook for today. So yesterday I had expected price to draw higher first and then draw lower. Simple as that. So let's go over what I was looking at. So yesterday on the daily, I knew that price the previous day had a pretty bearish run, and when price has a long run, the next day you don't really necessarily expect for continuation unless you it's rare. Um, but when you have a run like that, when you have a day up expansion, or the next obvious price action would be consolidation, followed by retracement, and then a continued expansion. So when that happens, you really don't know. So you have to expect that price will consolidate and will look for sell stops, buy stops before it continues with the trend. So with that said, it is reasonable to assume that price will retrace, consolidate, but not continue with expansion unless it's on a day like this. But anyways, that's what I expected yesterday. So coming into the morning, I did notice that price was consolidating in the morning session. Not morning session, Asia London session. I did notice SMT between this high and this low here. And just as I go on, I'll just go ahead and delete these. Right. So again, SMT at the lows, and that gave me enough indication the price would likely reprice into an old imbalances, because like always, price will always is always seeking for one or two things. It's always seeking to take out liquidity at highs or lows, or rebalance an imbalance. So yesterday price closed the previous day price closed here. So with this consolidation, price took out this liquidity and started to look for a rebalance of an imbalance. Same thing here. Price took out this low here and started rebalancing. We had this big imbalance here on the 4-hour, but I didn't like that one because it was too wide of a range. So I started looking for an imbalance on the 1-hour. On the 1-hour, I found this imbalance here as well as this imbalance here. On NQ, this imbalance and this imbalance. As you can see here, price did not necessarily take out this high here, so it didn't trade into this imbalance, but it did trade into this imbalance here. So right after the morning session, I did expect price to draw higher, so I started looking for some sort of entry. And the first trade was a loss of 2 points, which I got in here, got stopped out right here. And this was during the 1000 macro. So again, first stage SMT on the 1-hour, second stage SMT where price swept this low on NQ, but it did not sweep this low here. As you can see here, it missed it by a couple of what? Wow, about 2 ticks or 1 tick. And so as soon as I noticed that, I looked to get in. But let's go to the 1 minute here so I can explain more thoroughly. Okay, so going into the 10 o'clock macro, I was expecting price to create a swing high, swing low. And when you are bullish, when you're looking to get long, you want price to take out buy side, then take out sell side, and then draw higher. As you can see here, price took out sell side, and I had a limit order here. I actually should have had it around here somewhere, because as you can see, we had price never swept this low here, and in Q it did. Which was right here. Took out sell side, buy side, sell side. This is not buy side, sell side, because as you can see here, this is not necessarily a swing high, swing low. So I use this swing high, swing low here. After price took out sell side, price drew higher after that. But again, when it comes to SMT, the one that fails to break that low is usually the one that reaches for the opposing swing highs. Uh, it'll have an easier time getting up there. Obviously, both didn't. Um, both reached the high, but to me, this one was the more the better one. Why? Because I like trading minis on ES, not NQ. Because with NQ, you can easily just lose your ass. But anyways, second stage SMT on the 15-minute, and then price drew higher. I did have I believe I got in right here at 5531 and covered into 10 points up here. And I did look to get in again, and I did get in after price expanded higher, and we had this area here come into 50% of the range. Now, the only issue for me was that I actually used this imbalance here, which in hindsight was the wrong entry. I got in right. I got in. I think it was 2 contracts here, and I actually ended up getting stopped out. Break even, but that's fine. Actually, no, it wasn't break even. It was no, no, it was right here. I got stopped. Yeah, I took 2 contracts. My bad. Took 2 contracts, covered one into 10 points. The second contract got stopped right here, so I lost maybe what about 1 tick. And then I took 2 more contracts here, got stopped out of break even. But in hindsight, I actually should have used this because it did trade into 50% of the range, and then price drew higher afterwards. So, small mistake, but I was good with the profit, made back yesterday's loss and then some. Um, and so we turn into the afternoon session. In the afternoon session, I was expecting, like I said, I was expecting price to draw higher, but then draw lower. And as time passed, I was more confident in the trade because, as you can see here, price rebalanced this whole imbalance here that it was drawing because it opened up here, and you would expect that if price was really bullish, you would expect for price um, not to close this balance here, not to close this imbalance here that it had prior to the open here. So because it was drawing, this candle drew a pretty big imbalance. But since it did, and there was no imbalances here, I had expected price to reject this area here. So this candle, as you can see, closed above constant encroachment. But look at the next candle. Next candle immediately rejected above and through the gap here. Same thing here. They closed right at consequent encroachment or a couple of ticks above, but the next candle immediately rejected. And so I came back for the 1300 macro. During the 1300 macro, I noticed that price had created displacement lower on the 15-minute, right here, displacement lower, and the only way that this imbalance or this trade would have not worked out or would have become void is if it would have swept this high here, but it didn't. As you can see here, it closed above constant encroachment, but not here. Here we were up here, and then we immediately, I think it was during the last 5 minutes, we immediately rejected lower. Here we closed above imbalance, but as you can see here, we still started closing below it. We rejected here once, and here is the displacement right here. So I started looking for an entry at around the 1300 macro, because why? Here you can't really see it just yet, but whenever you're looking for a short, you want to see buy side liquidity get swept, and then sell side liquidity get swept. Here there's no buy sell side yet because there's no swing high, swing low. 1 second. Right. Okay. Here you do have a swing high, swing low. Price swept this swing low here, and then started retracing higher. We also have a swing low here, swing high here, and when you want to get short, you want the swing low to get swept first, then the swing high, taking buy side, and then you want to get short. Same thing here. This is not a swing high, swing low, but it is here. Swing high, swing low, sweep, swing low, takes buy side, displacement lower, entry here, and I actually ended up covering here. I should have covered down here, But obviously, in hindsight, that's fine as long as I was able to get this whole move down, was able to cover for about 15 points. So off to a great week. Yesterday, when Tuesday was just a day that I definitely want to forget already. So I did follow price action though to see what it did after relative equal lows were swept. So here, relative equal lows were swept, and I started looking for price to draw back into 50% of this range from this high to this low here, because that's what price does. If you're not expecting for price to continue with expansion or distribution, then you should expect for price to come back into 50% of this range here. Actually, earlier I did take a swing trade here on NQ, but I got stopped. Which, in hindsight, I probably should have just taken it off. I used this distribution here into 15%. Price swept buy side, but again, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have taken it because it did not sweep sell side first. Price needs to sweep sell side first. Once it happens, then you can start looking for an entry. But I actually did think of this right here, this swing high, this swing low, I mean. Price swept it, but it should have been this one right here. Price retraced into here, and I actually got in at 23, which is right here. And in hindsight, I should have covered once price swept this low, because price had not came back to 50% of this range here. So again, got stopped out. I believe it was right here at 40. No, it was 40. I think it was 41. Yeah, I didn't want to see price come back up to this area, because these three candles are the candles that made up the imbalance here. And if price sweeps this high, then you know it's going to go higher. So I left it a little lower as ICT says. If it comes back even up above this candle here, then you're probably wrong, and I was. So I got stopped, small loss, but I was able to catch the next move here on ES for a pretty nice win. So again, pretty good wins on both sides of the curve. This one was safer than this one. This one I just took off of SMT. This one I took, based on an actual pattern. Good pattern here as well, but this was the more safer one. So again, I did look to see how price traded into the afternoon, into the close. Again, price swept sell side here, and I expected price to draw higher. So let's go over that real quick. Again, my target would have been the 50% of the range. As you can see here, price swept this low, swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low. And what you want to do once price takes buy side or sell side, if you are expecting a reversal, you want price to sweep both. You want price to sweep buy side first, sell side second, and then you want to get the move up. And as you can see right here, buy side, sell side into 50% of this range, draw higher, cover up here. I didn't take this trade, but as you can see, all of the prerequisites of a long setup were there. We could have also added here once price traded above. I think it's a 5-minute here, or a 3-minute. No, it was a 5-minute. Once price closed above here, could have entered here, use this order block as an entry point as well, and cover up here. So multiple chances to get in that area. But anyways, let's take a look at NQ real quick. NQ wasn't as clear. As you can see, it didn't sweep into buy side here, but it did draw into 50% of the range here. Entry here with well, you could have added here as well. Once price traded above this, swept buy side, retraced into this area here, get along. But again, I still follow price because you're just refreshing your mind every time you see something like this happen. And price is fractal 100% of the time. So just remember that price is always repricing to imbalances or taking out liquidity, and when it does that, you do have setups on every time frame. And so today, what's my outlook for today? Um, oh, the reason why I didn't expect price to sweep these highs, as I said yesterday, was because this right here is a balanced price range. If you look at the 1 or 5 minute, you'll notice that price consolidated here before it displaced lower. So if price were to get above this, then we would expect price to start targeting the highs, but it didn't. So today, what I'm expecting for is I'm expecting for price to sweep this high up here and then continue lower. I would like to see SMT at the highs. Um, yeah, I would like to see SMT at the highs to guarantee that short, because that's what I'm looking for today. I'm looking for shorts, and I would expect for this whole range to be a market maker sell model if we drew higher during Asia and London. If we drew lower, then I've no I won't have a bias. Or a plan. We did have news at 8:30, and we do have news at 9:45 and 10. So no trades until 10. Um, and if I miss the initial entry at the high, then I will look to enter at a lower price range. So yeah, that's the only plan I have for today. I would, like I said, I would expect for this to be the swing low. Now, if for some reason we don't sweep this high, but we create a high up here somewhere, then I would expect for that to be generated liquidity, and eventually we'll sweep those highs again, and then for price to continue drawing lower. So again, I don't want to see. We do have relative equal lows here, so I don't want to see these lows get swept just yet. I want to see the high get swept first. So let me bring this down up here because we do have new dealing range here. So we should have a new dealing range with this high being the area of interest for me. Same thing here. I would like to see this high get swept first. So then the dealing range to get to continue on with the trend. So we'll see how price developed overnight. We are still closing and opening above consequent encroachment, but again, I do want to see something up here. Uh, so yeah, let's take a look. First, let's take a look at the daily though. Okay, daily's not really telling me anything. We broke this breaker here. Here we're still closing above consequent encroachment, or we reached consequent encroachment, but we drew higher here. Here we are more bearish. So I would like to see how price. I would like to see price rebalance this whole imbalance here. I believe we might even head to these lows down here. So let's take a look and see what happened overnight. We closed above this gap here, so that's kind of bullish. But again, I do want to see how price develops over here at these highs here. Now, if for some reason we swept lower first, then I would expect price to reprice into an imbalance, because now we do have a daily imbalance up here. So I'll keep that in mind as well. I do want to see how price reacts up here. One of the first things I'll have to see, though, if anything, is a purge of a high and low on the 15 or 1 hour to see where price might want to reprice later on. So let's go ahead and connect the data and see where we currently stand at. Oh, all right, weird. I don't know why my sound didn't come on. All right, so let's take a look. Actually, I do want to see how price reacted after it touched 50% of this range. So let's connect to data and connecting now. So let's see. Okay. Let's see where we stand. All right, so we never drew lower, but we did sweep. I mean, we didn't. We did create relative equal lows here. So this dealing range stands for me. And Q. Okay, so there is SMT between ES and NQ. There's SMT between this low here. No, not this low. Yesterday's Asia low, and today's New York session low. Actually, not Asia. London low. High here. Lower low here. Higher low here. Higher low here. Lower low here. We have a sweep of London. We have a sweep of London and Asia here. So I would expect price to reach for these highs here. We do have relative equal highs here. Between this high and this low here. That is 50% of the range. 50% of this range. Did we sweep any of it at least? No, we did not. Let's go ahead and add RH afternoon session high. Actually, that's not the afternoon. That's the 1600. Let's just put REHs. Okay. We also have relative equal highs here. We do have also SMT at the highs, but since I am bullish, let's see here. If I want to get short up here, I want to see sell side get purged first. Yep, so sell side got purged down here with these equal lows here. So I would expect price to seek buy side and then sell side. So again, I am looking for a continuation. Let me rephrase that. I am looking for price to draw higher today. If it touches these highs, that's fine. I don't care about that. What I do want to see is I want to see how price reacts once it hits 50% of this range. Again, my bias is short, so I won't be looking to get short here. I want to get short here. If price draws lower first, if price sweeps these lows first, then I will be looking for price. Yep, we already took buy side here. Sell side, I mean. Geez, so many different things. So I am looking for price to draw higher. Notice how after we swept these lows here, where we open and close, that's a bullish sign. Same thing here. Once we swept this lows, that's a bullish sign because with the open and close here. This candle, I want to see an immediate draw higher. On the 15-minute, I don't see anything just yet. This whole down move is generated liquidity, meaning low resistance. Actually, this is not low resistance. Not low resistance. This right here is, because each high is lower than the last one. As you can see, this low is high resistance because each low is lower. If it was low resistance, then each high should be higher. I mean, each low should be higher than the last low. So it is weaker to the upside than it is to the downside, but still I want to see how price reacts coming off the open and into the 10 o'clock macro. I think the best course of action for me will be not to take a trade during the 10 o'clock macro because there are plenty of news. And if price is to draw higher and complete this market maker buy model here, then I will look to see if maybe I can get in on a continuation play, not the initial SMR, which is the what is it called? Smart money reversal. So yeah, let's go ahead and take this out and do this instead. Okay. Midnight open is right here. So if you are long, then you want to get long below midnight open. If you are short, if you want to get short, then you have to get short below, above midnight open. I always get these mixed. No, not new day. Oh man, it's not that I'm all over the place today. It's just sometimes I forget which template I saved them in. And I actually saw this, but I was looking for new day opening gap for some reason. All right, so let's see here. Again, we do have purge of the low first. Actually, we have a purge of the high first. Then we have a purge of the low. So that is prime environment for longs. On ES, we have a purge of the high first. Actually, let's do it this way. That way it's easier to see. On the 60-minute, you can see it. But here, we purged buy side first. Then we purged sell side. And Q purged buy side. Then we purged sell side. So again, I do want to see maybe we already took sell side, so now we should reprice the buy side. So I want to see if this right here, we just had SMT at the 15-minute low, so I want to see if this holds. If price sweeps this low, then I might look to trade during the 10 o'clock macro. But right now we just hit SMT between this low and this low, and this low and this low here on the 15-minute. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. We did draw through here, this inverse here. We drew this inverse here. On NQ, also we purged buy side, sell side on the lower time frames. Same thing here. Swing low, swing high, draw lower. We purge here, purge here, purge here, purge here with this move up. And as I said again, we do have SMT between this low and this low, and this low and this low here. I don't see a clear entry, so I'm not going to take that. But I just want to see what price does. We just closed above this swing high here. Actually, we haven't. We did sweep it. That is market structure shift. I want to see how price opens and closes here. If price closes above here, I do want to see maybe a tiny retrace back into this area here. And if I do get in here, then my stop will be below this low here. Again, I want to see how price closes here. If it immediately draws higher than that, that's just too bad. Same thing here. Oh, here already did actually. Let's see what it does here after sweeping this high here. As you can see here, we already closed. Actually, we didn't. Darn. I thought we did. All right, never mind. I thought we closed above here already, but it was actually this gap that was keeping me that kind of gave it away. I used this low here. So just gonna see how it does here. As you can see here, we are gonna close above that. So yeah, I mean, I don't have any other way. So again, I'm not gonna trade the 10 o'clock macro. It seems because it does seem like we already are well, we are drawing higher. Um, so let's see if that this 5 minute closes above this right here. We rejected up here already. All right, so I do have some buy orders here at 98, but it looks like I'm not going to get triggered. All right, so I didn't get triggered. That's fine. Yeah, I had some buy orders here, um, but unfortunately I didn't get triggered, so that's fine. So let's just see how this one closes. On the 15-minute, I would like to see price close. Why is it set up like that? Weird. Above this right here. So this is the other 15-minute that I'm looking for. If price closes above here, then this would be the next area I'd be looking for price to violate. Because what you want to see is you want to see price respect bullish PD arrays, and you want to see disrespect bearish PD arrays. It already disrespected this one because it closed above the gap here. So about one more minute and then we'll see. I like that I saw I like that I saw price pretty good today, based off the open. ES is definitely looking like it doesn't want to close above that. But just because it doesn't do that now, it doesn't mean that it won't do it later on. All right, so it did here already. So yeah, again, This should have been another one for me to look at. All right, so it makes logical sense that price should now draw higher. Because as you can see here, it pierced consequent encroachment here, closed and open above. So it is reaching for this high here. All right, I'm going to try to get in here and use this order block as the entry point. I just need a quick retracement. Oh no, it's gone. Yep, it's gone. Completely my fault that I didn't identify this one as well. Again, still SMT between this low and this low here, and this low and this low. All right, I think we're getting something. All right, so what I'll do is I'll wait until I'll wait a little more, but it looks like it's going to complete it. Yep, there it goes. Three more minutes. Darn, I probably should have gotten here, but that's fine. All right, so now we have SMT at the highs between ES and NQ, but since my bias is bullish, I'm not expecting for price to immediately reverse. And this would be the objective. There's equal highs with NQ as well. Actually, that was swept already. Yep, that would be the objective here. It already violated multiple PD arrays, so a draw to this high seems plausible. I would like to see we have a full rebalance here, and this move up completely balances these two sides. So the next one, what I would like to see is I would like to see a rebalance up to this order block, and if I do get it, then that'll give me an entry here with a stop here of 2.75 points, and then a draw higher. But if it sweeps the highs first, then that's my trade idea gone. And it's gone. All right, so it reached for the relative equal highs and lows. Great reading of price action. Sucks that I missed it. I did have a buy here, and I just didn't get triggered in. So that's fine. But I do know what I'm looking for. I want this to be terminus if this buy model is to work out. So again, I will look to see what price does here if it continues drawing higher. If it doesn't and reverses lower, then I'm still not interested because I do want to catch the move above this swing highs here. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people looking to get short here, but not me. I'm looking for price to continue drawing higher. So I'm not interested in longs anymore. I was earlier, but not anymore. On the 15-minute, I want to see price close above this area here. Same reason as to when I look for shorts. I want price to close below these areas, these fractals here. Not fractals. What is it called? Quadrants. I want to see price close above these quadrants for price to tell me that it looks to get short or looks to. Okay, I'm still online. My OBS said it was offline. And if we draw lower, I don't see any gaps here. The only gap I see is this one, and price would completely have to close below this. Even sweep this though here for me to start thinking that price is drawing lower now. We are leaving a gap here, so again, I would have to see price close or violate this gap here, as well as this gap here, this gap as well. Weird. OBS has been reconnecting and connecting multiple times now. Okay, so on the 15-minute, we're already above 50% of this range here. So again, I want to see price close above this area here. Better if we close above these relative equal highs. ES, I want to see it close above this area here. Better if we close above these equal highs, because that will give me indication that price is reaching towards this high here and ultimately this high here, which would be terminus of this market maker buy model. So a couple more minutes. 10 more seconds. So the next one should be a very aggressive run. News just came out. And of course, price is drawing higher. I don't need this anymore, actually. So I can't just short into this sweep here. What I need to see now is structure. And what I mean by that is I want a swing high, swing low to get drawn. and then I want to get the short. Here we do have relative equal lows, like I said, but I still need to see more up here. Damn, my stomach is going weird. Yeah, it's still not enough for me to want to get short at all. Hmm. Nope, still nothing. As you can see here, price did close above this 15-minute imbalance here. It also closed above this 15-minute imbalance here. So yeah, pretty bullish price run right now. Actually, I just noticed something. Okay. All right, I'm seeing a setup on the 15-minute. Unicorn model right here. Let's take a look at the 15-minute here. Nothing here. This is the unicorn model here. Nothing on the 5-minute. 1 minute. I'm not gonna take it. I'm just watching still. Swing low is just purged. Okay. All right. So I do like that setup. I do like the setup, but as you can see here, there's really no the 50% of this range is not necessarily in line with what I would like to see. Is I would like to see 50% of the range up here somewhere. So maybe we have one more run to the high, and then we get a new swing low. So that's what I'll wait for. This swing high and swing low here, even though it is technically a defined one, it's not as defined to me. So I would like to see one more sweep, because then that would make this right here um, the new dealing range. So I'm just going to continue waiting. Yeah, I definitely don't like it just yet. All right, so the macro just started. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the setup at all yet, just yet. Yep, I don't like it. So still watching for now. Trading is supposed to be boring, so just remember that. Let's see what this other one's doing. What's this? No idea. Why is this set up this way? It should be all charts. Weird. Yeah, let's set it as default. Okay, all right, so it does look like we might get that sweep. So we're sweeping buy side. I would like for it to continue drawing higher. And then we get the sweep down here for continued up move. That would also be a 3-drive pattern, uh, but it all depends on how this next 15-minute closes in about 5 minutes here. If it closes above this right here, then I would like, again, I would like for a draw, a sweep of this low. I could use this, but it doesn't make any sense because this right here. Okay, much better. A little lower, come on. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's mute this person. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put it by order at consequent encroachment. No, not there. Right here with a stop. So about a 15-point stop. And we do have, well, lower time frame SMT, but not necessarily anything I care about just yet because I'm still bullish. And we do have news here in about 4 minutes. So let me get my orders ready. 50. Let's put it at 50. Because 50 is usually the magic number. 50, 100, and yeah, 50, 100, and 50 and 100, because those are midpoints of those. It could also be 75 and 25, but since this one is since that's where this one is at, that's what I'll look to do. We could also end up with SMT between this low and not this, is it this low? Yep, and this low here, where on ES it doesn't sweep the low, on NQ it does. All right, I'm starting to like it even more. Just continue drawing higher and then get that quick sweep. And I'm going to put it in between. So in between would be 51. So let's just see what it does. I thought I added it here. Yep, right here. Okay, yeah, so I think ES is the one that's not going to reach 50%, and it's not going to sweep this low. And my stop will be obviously this low here if I get stopped. So it's going to be 50. Yeah, let's put it at 51. If I don't get triggered, then I'll look to get in on a low resistance buy, and then I'll look for the entry. 98. 950. 8950. Oh wow, I almost put it at the wrong one. But I'm just waiting for the reaction here in a couple of seconds. All right, at 52, that's where I have it. Darn, and it's gone. All right. Okay, so what I wanted to see happen didn't happen, but this one aligns better now. So I'm going to take this off. Still within the realm of possibility that it will come back into this area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually set my buy at 60, 61, I guess. But I don't want to see continuation anymore. All right, well, trade ideas out of the window now. Let's get rid of this here. And let's get rid of this here. Okay, so now a couple of options that I do have is if price just stops drawing higher and retraces, then this right here will be the entry for me because this is a 15-minute breaker, 15-minute unicorn model, which could, and this is terminus. Damn. All right, so let's see here. Yep, we're about to hit that high. Yep. Okay, so now I'm looking for a short. If it does not hit this high here, I mean, if it does, if it sweeps this high, then I'll be looking for a short. Not now, but later on during the 11 and 1330 macros, or even 1300. Because it could still continue drawing higher, and it could draw as high as this right here, which would be the daily dealing range. And this right here, I could actually use as a inverse. Right here. Okay, so 50% of the range, 50% of the daily dealing range. These I don't necessarily need anymore, but I do want to see price draw into this area. Darn. I mean, I still do want to see it draw into this area because I still wanted to catch the long, but obviously we didn't. So now I'm just watching to see what it does in these areas here on NQ, on ES. We still have this range here. This is extreme discount, extreme premium of the daily dealing range. So again, just watching. Looks like we might. We might. All right, let's zoom in to see what it's doing. All right. So it didn't touch consequent encroachment. I mean, it didn't reach terminus, but it could still come back. This right here was the sweep of the swing high, swing low, draw higher, but obviously not a good model. Not unless you like momentum. I prefer to get in on just on regular price action on a regular model, and this to me wasn't good enough. So it could still reach highs here, but as of right now, no structure. It is where I want to get short, or close to where I want to get short, but what I need to see is structure first. Meaning, I want to see it draw swing high, swing lows. I want to see where the purges are and how price is either displacing lower or higher. Right now, price is displacing higher, but no clear structure as to what it wants to do next. So So still waiting. But as it stands right now, I don't think we're going to get the proper short um, within the next 4 minutes. And I can, yeah, it's hard for me to see that it will, because even on the 5 minutes we don't have anything. Less on the 1 minute. But what I do want to see is before I end the live stream is I do want to see this high get swept. And once it does, I'll know what I'm looking for later on in the other macros. Come on, come on. All right, perfect. Okay, so now we have a new high and a new low. So now, again, what I want to see is similar to this, swing high, swing low. Actually, let's draw it here. I want to see something like this. Both swing high and swing low gets purged. We get a new drive higher, low, something like this. And I don't want to see it on the 1 minute. I want to see it on the 5 and 15 minute first. Once I see that and I see displacement on the 5 minute or the 15 minute, I'll start looking for something like that on the lower time frame because price is fractal. So whatever happens on the higher time frame will happen on the lower time frames. So for now, I'm just looking for that. We do have SMT here between ES and NQ, so that's a good sign. But if I don't get in up here, then most likely I'll probably get in down here after price violates these gaps up here into terminus down here. So again, my draw now as it stands are the lows because we do have relative equal lows here. Actually, right here between this low and this low. So this right here is my my target now. But yeah, let's just wait 1 more minute, see what's happening. See no clear swing high, swing low in the 1 minute. I wouldn't mind if we saw a continuation, maybe to the upside, but it has to be lethargic. Kind of like from here to here, it was a lethargic move. Last one was pretty sudden into this sweep here. Actually, let's draw it right there. And this will be PDH. So if it just displaces lower, then that's fine with me. I don't care. Um, those feelings that you get where you think you're missing out, you probably are, but who's to say it won't continue drawing higher? And you probably get stopped out. So the best thing to do is just let it draw itself. If it comes down here, closes below this, then you know you have this whole range to trade in. Or if it comes down here, then who's to say then you have this whole range. So wherever it draws to, you still have a range as long as your bias is correct. And my bias right now is telling me that price is going to draw lower. So I'm just going to leave it alone for now. Let it do its thing, and then come back later during the 11, 1300 macros. Even the 12 o'clock macro. Price action like this tells me that we might get something during the 12 o'clock macro when mostly everybody goes to lunch. If we don't get anything in the 11 o'clock macro. So yeah, that's it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.